Yo, what is up, guys? It's Cohen back again today with another video, and today I'm going to look at some of your predictions for the second half of the NBA season. As you can see, per usual, I tweeted out asking for some of your predictions for the second half of the NBA season, and you guys left around 100 or so comments, so I'm going to go through maybe not all of them, but a lot of them, if not most of them. Kind of talk about the second half of the season. I'm going to drop a second half of the season NBA predictions video, so I won't give too much away about what I want to say in that video, but I'll definitely react to some of these takes. So let me know what you guys want to see, like what other content, what other Twitter type videos, reactions you want to see from me, and we'll just go ahead and get into it. So the first one is that PJ Washington breaks out into a star level player. He had that 42-point game against the Kings recently. I really like PJ Washington. I think he's a solid player. Star level, what does that mean? Star level. Does he mean all-star level? Because if it's all-star level, no. But I do think he is improving, and I think that the Hornets have kind of an underrated future. I like PJ Washington's game a lot, and I'd really like to see him keep breaking out. Maybe not. I don't know what it means to say star level. Is that like the tier below super, or no, the tier below all-star? I think PJ Washington could be really good. Maybe not the second half of the season, but I think he could be good. The Phoenix Suns win the NBA Finals. I would love to see this. I've said this a million times. They're one of my favorite teams to watch. I love Devin Booker. I love Chris Paul. I would like to see that. Also, it's cool to see a underdog team kind of finally find its stride. Wizards make the playoffs. This is something that I will give this away. I do think that the Wizards are going to end up making the playoffs. I think the Wizards are making that push. I think they have a lot of talent, and I think as guys are starting to figure out their roles more, if Bertans could find that consistency, if they make like a pickup at the deadline, maybe in a buyout or something, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know who's going to Washington right now, but if they make a couple additions, especially, I think that they can make the playoffs. It just depends how the trade deadline goes down. The Wizards will finish as a top 5 seed. Now, this I do not think I think they've just lost too many games. Do they have the talent to maybe try and push for a top 5 seed? Maybe. I just don't think that they won enough games at the start of the season. Toronto and Miami bounced back. They have kind of bounced back. Jazz continue to play well despite the recent downfall. Yeah, I don't think that the Jazz's recent losing streak is indicative that they were a fraudulent team or anything. But I do think that they are coming back down to earth a little bit. I still think they'll be really, really good, though. Oladipo and Hill will be the two main guys on new teams. Oladipo, I'm not sure. George Hill, I definitely think. But George Hill will end up on a different team. The Knicks fall off hard. Man, that would suck. I feel so bad for Knicks fans if they started talking all this smack at the start of the season and then in the second half they just fall off hard. I don't think that they're going to fall off hard. I wouldn't be surprised if they fell off a little bit just because as a young team, it's hard to kind of maintain that success. Yeah, I guess we'll see. I think that the Knicks are definitely a playoff threat. Ben, or I thought this said Ben, Bam slowly enters the depoy conversation. I would not be surprised about that either, especially if it really just depends if the Heat can kind of keep finding their stride. If the Heat keep playing really well, then Bam is definitely going to enter defensive player of the year conversations. I don't know if he'll end up winning it. I think it's a little too early for him. They're like Rudy Gobert, Ben Simmons, guys like that are just ahead of him, Miles Turner. But I think that he will start to enter the conversation, which just means like he's in consideration, maybe like top 5, top 10-ish. The Nuggets will turn it up a notch after their 4-game win streak. Really, the key to that is Jamal Murray's play. Jamal Murray has been playing great, and that's why the Nuggets are finally winning games. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they can kind of hold on to that. I'm really curious to see what the Nuggets do at the trade deadline because they're a team I feel like could go a ton of different directions, and I think that will end up deciding what their second half of the season ultimately looks like. Wolves win every remaining game. Okay. Cavs get the 7 or 6 seed. I don't think so. They're just too young. I think that they're going to deal potentially Larry Nance. I think they do end up trading a guy or two. Drummond's going to be gone. We already know that. He's not great or anything, but he does help this team. Sometimes he helps them with rebounding, which is an issue of theirs. Kevin Love might end up getting moved. Not that he's played anyways, but that takes him out of the potential to come back. I think the team is just too young right now. Suns are going to be the 1st seed. That would be really cool to see. I wouldn't be surprised. The Mavs move up to at least the 4th seed. They're definitely on fire right now. It's up to Kristaps. It's up to those role player guys. The Mavericks, another team. Really just in general, this could be a really fun deadline for a lot of different teams because there are a ton of different directions to go. A lot of teams are struggling with COVID. A lot of teams aren't meeting expectations necessarily. And so I think a lot of teams are going to try and make up for that with some big moves. It'll be cool. Steph puts up insane numbers and Warriors will be a top 6 seed. Definitely could see it. Some good teams are going to have a downfall, sadly, and one player will come out of nowhere and have good stats. That seems to be probably likely. Saban Lee continues to be a steal of the draft. I'm not going to say the steal of the draft, but I do think he was a huge steal. I'm super happy for the Pistons. They've got a lot of young talent there. OKC goes undefeated and sweeps the playoffs to win their first championship in Oklahoma City. I said predictions, not just kind of like saying what's going to happen. Like, this is kind of obvious. Drummond gets bought out and signs with Brooklyn. Man, if Blake, who seems to be leaning towards Brooklyn, and Drummond both sign with Brooklyn, man, there's not going to be many excuses if they don't end up winning that. Twitter's going to let them have it. Not really this season, but SGA signs a max, and we get the number 1 pick. Yeah, SGA is going to sign a max the second this season ends, or the second he's eligible to sign that max that a lot of players signed this past offseason. Number 1 overall pick, I'm not sure. I think we will trade George Hill. I just think that this team's going to end up being too good to get the number 1 overall pick. We're not going to catch the Wolves. We'd have to get lucky in the lottery. I guess what I'm saying is that I don't think we're going to have the number 1 odds to get the number 1 overall pick. Because, like I was just saying, the Wolves, the Pistons, the Rockets have struggled badly. We're just too competitive, I think, right now to end up with those number 1 overall odds. But hopefully we do manage to get the number 1 pick. That'd be cool. Wizards made the playoffs to get past the first round. First round is tough because there are a lot of good teams out east, and especially since they started really poorly, they're going to have to play like a top 3-4 team in the Eastern Conference to try and make it to the second round. We'll see, though. I love Westbrook. Westbrook can make things happen. OKC makes the play-in tournament if Hill and Al are here. Maybe that's top 10 teams. I could see it. I would not think it's going to happen. The Nets claim the first seed, probably. Or not probably. I could definitely see that, is what I meant to say. Harden comes first in the MVP race. I don't see it. Utah actually finishes the first seed, could also see it. Lakers finish third, could see that, especially with Anthony Davis out for long term. Nets get Blake Griffin and KD, and Dinwiddie return. I think KD is a given to come back. I don't see Dinwiddie returning. I don't think he's going to come back this season. I think he just comes back fully healthy. They don't want to risk his health. They need him next season. Timberwolves if someone make the playoffs. That'd be crazy. I definitely don't see it. Jaren comes back and the Grizzlies get the 8th seed. You could definitely see it. Jaren Jackson, I keep saying that sentence. I'm going to try to stop saying that. Jaren Jackson Jr. is really good. People forget how good he is. I would not be surprised if the Grizzlies try to make that playoff push. There's a lot of up and down movement in the Western Conference right now. The Jazz will continue their hot streak and lose greater than 12 games. I'm guessing he meant less than 12 games. I would be shocked because they've already lost 8, maybe 9 now. I believe it's 8. So that means they lose less than 4 games all second half of the season. So that means they would go like, what, 61-11 at worst? I don't see that. I think that's kind of crazy. Hornets trade for Vucevic and become a 5 seed. If they do get Vucevic, I could definitely see them being a 5 seed. Mavs finish 5 seed over the Blazers. Possible. We already talked about the Wizards making the playoffs. Hopefully Luke Walton gets fired. I'm convinced Luke Walton is immortal. I'm convinced that the Kings will never fire Luke Walton no matter what happens. Luke Walton could go on the court and just, like, I don't even know what he could do. Luke Walton could burn down the arena from center court, and he could spray paint on a big sign outside that said Luke Walton did this, and they'd be like, I don't think this is Luke Walton, so I don't think he's the reason why this franchise is struggling. Luke Walton, man, I just don't think it's ever going to happen at this point. I think they fire him in the offseason. I don't think he gets fired this season. I think they keep letting the tank happen. Fire him this offseason. God, I hope so. For Kings fans' sake, I really hope so. Suns finish with the best record in the NBA. It's possible. Man, I love seeing how good the Suns are. I like the Suns a lot. Brooklyn wins the chip, and no, I don't want them to. I think Brooklyn might be the favorite right now, depending on pickups. If Blake Griffin does sign with them, I think they have to be the favorite. Even if he is injured, he's still a solid player. If he's able to stay healthy, we'll have to see. Yeah, Warriors Jazz playoff series. Warriors in 7. I take the Jazz right now, I think. Harrison Barnes will be a Warrior. That would be cool. I don't know how they're going to make it happen, but that would be cool. Marcus Smart, Defensive Player of the Year. Nah, he just missed too much time, I think. Levine and Randall will make All-NBA third team. It's possible, although it's very hard with all the guards. Like you have Harden, Kyrie, Dame, Steph, Luka. Those are 5 guys that are like guaranteed, and I guarantee right now I'm forgetting someone. Let me think for 1 second. Didn't come to mind. Guarantee I'm forgetting someone. You could also talk about Bradley Beal, who's an all-star starter. So there you go. There's 6 guys. It's really tough for Levine to make it. Randall, the front court's a little more open. I would say you have like a KD, you have a LeBron, you have a Giannis, you have a Kawhi Leonard. That's 4 guys that are like guaranteed. Wait, did I say KD? Giannis, LeBron, Kawhi. Yeah, I must have said KD. So those 4 guys are kind of like guaranteed. Beyond that, I don't know. You could kind of think about that. I don't know. It's going to be tough for both those guys to make All-NBA third team. All-NBA teams, there's going to be some people that are really upset about some snubs because so many people are having great seasons. Heat going to tear, end up top 5. Yeah, I don't even think they need to go on a crazy tear for that. I think they just need to keep kind of sustaining what they've been doing recently. Simmons wins Defensive Player of the Year. I think he's definitely a top 2, 3-ish candidate, so I could see that. And the Nets win the East. Yeah, those are all pretty reasonable. Knicks then is the 4 seed. It's possible. Once again, like I said, it's hard for a young team sometimes to sustain that success that they have in the first half of the season, so we'll see. AD comes back as an MVP caliber player and shoots the healthy. I just read shoots the healthy Lakers back up to the number 1 seed in the Wessie. Yeah, I can see that. I think Anthony Davis is definitely going to benefit from this rest. I think he was gassed from the bubble and then coming right into the season. I think he was definitely tired and kind of not necessarily out of shape. He just wasn't ready for this full strength season again, all the travel and stuff. So yeah, I would not be surprised if AD comes back. Lakers 1 seed in the West. Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. Let's see. 76ers win the East without going to 7 games in any series. Now that's bold because I feel like a series between them and Brooklyn, especially if they make some acquisitions each, would be really, really good. And I could definitely see it being a 7-game series. I mean, I could see them winning in 6 games, I guess. They would just need dominant efforts from all their guys. I mean, Joel Embiid has been dominant, so I don't know. It's going to be very interesting because they have no one who can stop Embiid, but the Sixers also don't have anyone who can stop all their guards at once. Because Ben Simmons is going to guard KD, and that means you have 2 guys, Kyrie and Harden. One's going to probably have to be guarded by Steph Curry, and that's not what you want to see. So we'll see how that goes. I think that would be an amazing series, though. Clippers get a veteran point guard, and they end the season as the 2 seed, make the finals, lose to the Nets 4-2, Harden finals MVP. Very possible. I could see all that happening. Celtics finish top 3. I think people are kind of freaking out a little bit too much about the Celtics. I could definitely see them finishing top 3, and that's because they're going to get Marcus Smart back. I think that they are going to make trades. I know there's the whole meme that Danny Ainge will never make a trade. I think he will. Brad Stevens is still a good coach. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, both all-stars, both really good players. I think that they could finish top 3. It's going to be tough to knock out the Bucks, the Nets, or the Sixers. But, you know, it's not possible. I think the Celtics probably more likely finish as the 4 or the 5 seed. It just fully depends on how they look once everyone gets healthy and the additions that they make. Rockets get fully healthy and start winning, but won't win the playoffs. I'm okay if they win some games. I'm a Thunder fan who wants their draft pick, and if it's top 4, we don't get it, so I'm going to need them to stop being really bad. Bulls make the playoffs. That'd be cool. I'd love to see the Bulls make the playoffs. And yeah, I like this one, so I guess I'll look at this one, and then we're reaching about the 12.5-minute point in the video, so I'll chill out and let y'all go. Miami Heat make the Eastern Conference Finals. That's tough. That means they have to beat one of Brooklyn or Philly, which is tough. The Raptors finish as the 5 seed. Could see it. Blake Griffin is a Laker. I think he's going to go to the Nets, but I would not be surprised. And the top 3 in MVP voting ended up being Giannis, LeBron, Embiid. Definitely could see that. I think LeBron and Embiid are probably the top 2 right now, and Giannis is definitely up there. He's got to fight with guys like Jokic, Curry, Dame, for example. James Harden also has started to make an MVP push, so we'll see what he's able to do. Jazz get 55 wins. That would leave them at about 55 and 17. I keep forgetting that's a 72-game season. Yeah, I can see that. I can see it. John Collins gets traded to a contender. I don't think that they end up trading John Collins. I think they end up holding on to him. I think that they end up giving him a contract. I think that some of the issues that were being talked about are going to be gone now because there's a lot of issues that players seem to have with Lloyd Pierce, and it seems like now that he's gone, I think that those will kind of resolve themselves. We'll see. Yeah, so we're starting to see some repeat ones. This one just says LeBron James. He probably will be in the second half of the season. I would probably say so. And yeah, so it's looking like we're starting to see a lot of repeat ones. This will be our last one. Actually, this one down here, teams play basketball. Yeah, probably. Although that didn't happen last year, so we'll see. The Wizards and Hornets make the playoffs. Knicks just miss out in play-in tournament. Man, as much as I hate to say it, I could definitely see that. I'm pretty sure wasn't that the phrase I was just trying not to say in the video. I'm so sorry. Lakers versus Clippers, second round of the playoffs. Yeah, definitely. Blazers make the Western Conference Finals. That one's tough. They need to get healthy. They need to get healthy bad. The Celtics trade for Vucevic, finish a top 3 seed. If they trade for Vucevic, I could definitely see them being a top 3 seed. The Raptors trade Lowry to Philly. Could see it. Wall, Heat, and DeRozan Nuggets, and Oladipo Hawks. Wall Heat, I don't really get this that much. I don't think it helps the Heat that much for what they might have to give up. DeRozan to Nuggets, that's interesting. I think DeRozan is definitely one of the more interesting trade pieces on the market right now. I'd like to see him in a multitude of different places. Obviously, he's been great in San Antonio, so I'd be cool with him staying there too. But, you know, And Oladipo Hawks, I really don't know how much they make him bet the Hawks better. Oladipo's just not been good this season. I mean, if he's able to find a return to form, he definitely helps that Hawks team as a two-way player. But otherwise, I don't see why they would do it. So, with that being said, that's all the predictions I'm going to go through for this video. Like I said, I'm going to make a video with my predictions for the second half of the season. I'm not sure how many of them I'm going to do. Maybe I'll do like 10 or so. Yeah, and you'll also be seeing a video where I go over my midseason MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Most Improved Player, all those award picks. Probably tomorrow is when you'll see that video, so keep an eye out for that, and I will see you guys later. Real Wednesday, bye.